much problems on this side. So the concluding idea is that there are multiple stakeholders in practicing personalized medicine. It's participatory from the side of patients. They need to know what costs and what are its benefits. The doctors need to set a protocol to diagnose based on the tests done by pathologists and the available information, enough IT knowledge to curate the data. And the government needs to support this to reduce unnecessary costs, especially for cancer medicines, which are very expensive. So I think I have given a brief, basic overview of personalized medicine. And to understand this, we have to understand about pharmacogenetics and pharmacogenomics, which will be the second session. Then I am here with about 8 or 9 examples of both blood cancers and solid cancers, where personalized medicine is successfully practiced. From genes, the causes are genetic, could be mutation or gain of function or loss of expression of certain genes and so on. So with the completion of Human Genome Project, we have all the information for the genes that are responsible for a disease and so on. But now we can sequence the entire genome of a deceased individual and compare with that of a healthy individual, and narrow down to certain regions or certain genes as possible causative factors. Of course, advanced studies need to be done, disease models need to be established, markers which can point to the fact that this disease may be present. That is why Human Genome Project has provided us with all this information. We only need a PCR technique and sequence this piece of DNA to see if there are variations. We talk about variations also.
Pathogenesis.
Yes. It's not just us, it's an emerging area of research. And we are constantly interacting with our microbiome. And they secrete many things. They are also deciding whether we respond to certain treatment or not. It's a very beautiful project, very big project, and many people are working on this. And maybe you can take a fecal sample or urine sample and you identify what kind
Of these drugs are tested in a liquid medium, but they don't act on a biofilm. In a biofilm, the potency, so considering it to be a non-pathogen in a liquid medium,
exactly.
it converts into a pathogen in a biofilm.
Yeah.
And it is not getting treated when we use an antimicrobial agent. So the normal bacteria, which is the organisms which are present, are giving cover for these pathogens.
Exactly.
So
You can classify.
how does personalized medicine has its effect in such biofilms?
Exactly, like within a body.
No, all this is it like sub-related to the
Working on biofilm, the specific bacteria.
dentistry is all about biofilm.
Yeah, I understand. It will be too
Very
long
long.
and it's better to brush the
Have a
basics
general
and
one.
restrict to only these popular examples to understand basic genetics and then personalized medicine. But
About right medicine, right time, at right dose.
yes.
So, how to determine the right dose?
So it is two-way. One is for several decades people know certain proteins like cytochrome P40 family of proteins. I will show that example. How certain people are very sensitive to alcohol consumption, for example, or to any different drug. So this knowledge is there, and more pharmacogenomic studies also bring in new information. Okay. Second thing is A, T, G, and C. How is this genome? It is not single piece. You have to remember all these things. Very important. They are distributed on several chromosomes. In case of humans, 23 pairs of chromosomes, and this vary from species to species. So here is a picture of a chromosome, axon U. have known this, and each chromosome is a linear piece of DNA. So there are so many pieces of DNA as the number of chromosomes. Is it clear? So there is a subtle difference between genetics and genomics. Genetics deals with the study of individual genes or a small set of genes, whereas genome is the study of entire genetic material of an organism, all the chromosomes, all these pieces of chromosomes that code for protein that also does not code for a functional protein. So again, to make one more basic clear, we have chromosomes, and chromosome is composed of DNA. On this DNA are present genes. What are genes? Genes are those pieces of DNA that have information that makes life. How? Each gene has information that transcribes into an RNA, which is further translated into a protein. This protein is the functional unit. It performs certain functions within a cell. This is how physiology goes on. And there are nearly 30,000 genes that code for proteins. Proteins are composed of amino acids. Each protein, depending on their amino acid sequence, fold in a certain way and gets into certain structure. Depending on their structure, they can be structural proteins because they will keep the structure of the cell, keep organelles intact, or could be functional proteins such as enzymes that convert certain substrates into products, either metabolism or signaling and so on. So this much basic is enough. Yeah? Genetics deals with the study of single genes or small set of genes, whereas genomics deals with the entire genome. There are various techniques to perform these different genes. We'll go slowly. So as we talked about the central dogma, starting with genes, on a whole, if you are studying, it will become genomics. Omics is the study when it is done at large scale completely. And when you are studying entire genome, it becomes genomics. At next level, you have mRNA, coded by all these 30,000 genes. When you are studying the sequence or meaning of all these RNAs, transcripts, RNAs are transcripts, right? It becomes transcriptomics. What is it? Which code for proteins? And when you look at proteins as a whole, the entire protein complement of a cell is called proteome. And if you are studying this entire proteome globally of a cell, it becomes proteomics. Genomics, transcriptomics, proteomics. At a higher level, as a result of enzymatic activity, could be metabolic pathways, as some of you have known, the glycolysis, Krebs cycle, conversion of carbohydrates, proteins, lipids and so on, result in certain metabolites, molecules. Could be carbohydrates, lipids, amino acids, other organic molecules. This entire set of organic chemicals, we call it metabolome. Metabolites, metabolome, and the study is metabolomics. This finally decides the phenotype of an organism or a cell. So genomics, transcriptomics, proteomics, metabolomics, and a new study, fluxomics. How these metabolites are fluxed through different pathways within the cell. You can study by labeling some metabolites. So this becomes fluxomics. Together, this information, when you consider to diagnose and predict the treatment outcome, it becomes systems medicine. you consider this different omics and their effect on disease or its treatment, systemic medicine and all these allied areas. So this is the timeline of genomics. Initially it started with the sequencing of bacterial genomes in the beginning of 90s, then yeast, then roundworm, then Drosophila melanogaster, then the primitive plant Arabidopsis thaliana. It's going on. And in case of mouse and humans, it goes in similar way. First building of genetic maps and physical maps. What do you mean by genetic maps or physical maps? Initially when the sequencing technology was not there, right from the Mendelian days, a particular trait or disease is going in certain pattern in a family or a pedigree. And you have certain markers for them. Based on segregation of different traits, people could make a map. For example, if you take Drosophila, there is a red eye phenotype going with wrinkled wings and so on. Depending on the frequency by which a combination of these characters are formed, you call it recombination frequency. Based on this, you make a map of these different phenotypes of the factors, what you call now as genes. This is called physical mapping. Later now what we do is positional gene cloning, where you have markers distributed throughout the genome. They could be mini satellites or microsatellites, meaning there are certain repeats of nucleotides present in certain regions of